I ran marketing departments in corporate America for 10 years and then ran a digital agency for over another 10 years. So I know the roadmap to online success, and that formula always includes producing content to share your message, from your marketing message to sales and delivery. Hi, I'm Jennifer Neal, and you're listening to the Content Toolbox. I believe the secret to finding and creating raving fans online is through you. In building relationships through stories that share who you really are, create genuine, crazy, raving fans that keep begging you to take their money. And on this podcast, we'll be talking strategies, tactics, tips, and more with myself and other industry experts. So buckle up and start your engines, because it's go time. All right, welcome back, everyone. I am super excited to introduce you today to one of my very good friends, Mr. Justin Stevens, who is the owner of Prospecting Done For You, and another sales master who's going to talk with us about the prospecting side of sales. So welcome, Justin.
I am thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, Jen.
Awesome. Okay, well, I know a little bit about your background, but why don't you go ahead and give us a quick kind of synopsis about who you are, where you came from?
Sure. So I was 13 years old, sitting in the back of a tiny family of six, the back of a tiny, the trucks with jump seats? Right? So there were six of us in this truck. And my dad, I was 13, my dad was listening to a Sandler training tape. He had just bought this franchise. And that is the first time we lived an hour outside of Boise. And so we're driving back and forth, and I'm listening to this crazy guy talk about all this sales crap. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do you do, Dad? So I asked him, I was like, Dad, what do you do? And he said, well, I help people learn how to sell. And if you're interested, I'd love to show you. So the summer between 8th and 9th grade was my first foray into sales training. I had a sweet clip-on tie. I'm surrounded by all these old folks, in my opinion, old folks. I mean, some of them were probably 20. And I am so out of my comfort zone. I don't even know what's going on. But I fell in love with sales that summer, changed my life. Then after college, I joined the family business, was a sales trainer for 10 years, working in our Sandler franchise before about a year and a half ago. I said, you know what? Dad, Mom, I love you, but peace out. I've got to go start my own business. So I took off. I started this one company, a software company all about live events. And I sold my house. I sold my car. We closed 4 retirement accounts. We went all in. We moved to Orlando, Florida from Boise, Idaho. And like the week after we got there, I'm looking at my bank account and I'm like, yep, I definitely spent all our money and this is not working at all. And so then I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But my wife's a stay-at-home mom, so it's up to me. And that's when I pivoted. And I was like, I know sales. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go back to that. And so I started Prospecting Done For You. One of the key differences between what I was doing at Sandler and what I do now is at Sandler, I told people, hey, this is how you need to do it. Now I just do it for them, which means it actually gets done, which is the best part about a done for you service is you own the responsibility, not your client. And so that is how I ended up right here, right now.
I love it. And you are back in Boise, which makes me very
happy. I am, yeah. We lived in Orlando for 1 whole year, and it was awesome. And we are so glad to be back.
Well, welcome back. Welcome home. All right. So let's talk about prospecting, obviously leading into the sales process. So let's talk about some of the mistakes that are commonly made.
So there's a lot of common mistakes. Where do I even start with that? So here's the first mistake people make, okay? And they think people care about what you do. No one gives a rat's behind about what you do. So when you're prospecting and you make it about how long you've been in business and all your great clients and all this other crap that no one cares about, you get a look kind of like this. And then if you look at your keyboard, this delete button becomes the size of the entire keyboard. It's so easy to find. It's like, boom, okay. Right? So that's the first mistake. It's not about you. It's about your prospect. It's about what they're dealing with and what they want help with. Another very common mistake is salespeople typically follow up between 3 and 7 times. 3 and 7 times, which seems like a lot, especially if you're the salesperson thinking, oh my God, I just called these folks, right? Have you ever been there where you're like, oh, how am I calling these guys again? They've got to be so sick of me. The typical buyer takes between 15 and 20 touches to get to a purchasing decision or even into a sales call. And so if you're giving up, let's assume you're giving up after 7 attempts, there's still a big gap between 7 and 15. So you've got to figure out, how do I bridge that gap? And the best way to do that is get over yourself. Get over your need to feel like you're bugging someone and just bug them. Do it politely. But here's how I look at it. When I bug someone, they can always tell me no, right? And I ask them to, please, if this is not a good fit, I don't want to call you. Like, this is my idea of a good time is not cold emailing. It's not picking up the phone and cold calling, right? So my idea of a good time is actually having a sales call. So please tell me to get out of here. I don't care, because sales is a numbers game, right? And so people get in their head about, oh, I followed up. I've touched them. I reached out. Well, here's the thing. Never give up a sale without being told to give up the sale. Push them to a no. Be like, listen, I get it. I've reached out a lot. I'm starting to feel like a gnat. Have you ever gone camping? You know what a gnat is, right? That stupid fly that it's like, oh my God, how's it in my drink? It's on my food. It's in my hair. Like, it's everywhere. And tell them that. Be like, listen, I feel like a gnat. I don't want to bother you. If this is something that's not a good fit, tell me, right? But if you don't tell me, I'll never know. And if I never know, I'll have to follow up until I do know. So please, I'm begging you, tell me, right? So get over that fear of being the one to follow up, of being the one who's constantly out there. Because in my world, if it comes down to me bothering you or me feeding my family, I'm always going to pick feeding my family, which means you're always going to get bothered. If you rose your hand or didn't, either way, right? You've got to do your job. You've got to do it. So the biggest advice I can give anyone out there is stop giving up so damn soon, right?
Yeah.
We all get these leads and it's like, where did it go? Nowhere, because you let it.
Yeah.
Ownership.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so great. So much stuff in there. Getting over fear, which we've talked about on this as well. And die, buy, or unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Just keep going. I love it. So in terms of content and messaging and stuff, where would you say that the prospecting journey actually starts?
A great question. It really is a good question. My initial answer is it starts when the prospect realizes they have a problem, right? So one of my clients, they sell conveyors, robotics, packaging into the food and beverage industry, right? The prospecting journey starts when their team, the client that we're trying to target and start the relationship with, starts saying, you know what? We have some safety issues. We're having throughput issues. We need to figure this out, right? It starts with them understanding it. So with that client, because of the way that business runs, it's very hard to show up to someone who's not thinking, oh, I need a palletizer, and be like, you need a palletizer. But if they're thinking, I've got throughput issues, I need to increase this, and then you show up and say, hey, we do automation and we can help increase that throughput, they're open to it, right? Mm-hmm. So in that business, we're looking for people who already are problem aware, right? They're already thinking, how can I take advantage of this? Now, in my business, I'm looking for people who aren't necessarily problem aware. Well, let's be candid. Everybody is problem aware when it comes to sales. We have a sales problem, but they're not aware that this is the right solution to deal with that problem, right? So you've got to really look at, where are you trying to sell someone? Like, are you trying to sell someone who's problem aware, or are you trying to help them uncover that they have a problem? This is one of my favorite things about sales, right? People have problems, right? And if you are in sales, your only job is to solve problems. That's it. But you physically and literally cannot create a problem that is not there. It's their problem. They either have it or they don't. Like, you can't create something that's not there. And so we get in our head about being pushy. Listen, guys, I do not believe in being pushy, because I don't think it works. It makes you look like an ass, and it makes me not want to talk to you. So my belief is people want help buying. They don't want to be sold. The caveat here is if you're selling to another salesperson who always wants to be sold because they're in sales. Fair?
That's a great tip. I love that.
Right? If you're selling a salesperson, sell them. That is what they want. It's why we take the drugs. It's why we live on the edge like this. It's like, God, I need the hit. It was really funny. I was buying a health insurance when we got to Florida. And I posted in this group, and I'm like, hey, who's an insurance guy in here? And so someone referred someone, and I jumped on the phone with them, and I was like, listen, I've got about 15 minutes. I want to keep it under $500. And he did some stuff, and he was like, so what do you want to do? I was like, let's do it. And he was like, oh, come on. It can't be that easy. This is ridiculous. Like, salespeople want to sell, and salespeople want to buy. So, side note, but stop trying to sell people who are not salespeople, right? Because it just makes your job way harder.
That's such a great tip. So
right?
Great.
So as you're going through working with people, you've got to figure out, okay, what is the problem I'm trying to solve, and are they aware of it, right?
Yeah.
And Kitech, one of my clients that does conveyors and the robotics, all that stuff, right? Our cold emails to prospects are like 3 lines long with a video, like a video about what we do. We're Kitech, we work in food and beverage. We do pick and place, stretch wrapping, palletizing, packaging, and the conveyors that tie it all together. Here's the video. When would be a good time for or who is the best person to talk to when it comes to these type of solutions? Like, that's it. It's direct, it's to the point, because we're not trying to create the problem.
Right.
We're trying to identify who already has that problem and wants help with it.
So a couple of things that you just said in there that I love.
And I think also tying back to the original, what was it, 15 to 25 touch points?
Yep.
So let's talk about, see, you mentioned video. And I think part of that is because you're using video to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're sharing more about what is happening. So let's talk a little bit about like techniques of media. And then how you are refining your message through those 15 to 25 touch points.
I love it. So here's one of the problems a lot of people make. They like the way they communicate. So like, for example, if there's someone who loves blogs, they typically don't love YouTube. If there's someone who likes hardcover books, audiobooks aren't their thing. Like, there are so many different methods to communicate. And it's our job as sales professionals not to force our method on our prospects. So one of the things we do when it comes to our 18-step system is we focus on, okay, how can I touch every modality? We use cold emails. So we actually have two sequences. So the first one is a 3-step email sequence just to qualify, is there interest and are they a real human being, right? Because you get bounce backs, you get all this stuff, right? If they don't want to, get them out of there. Get them out of there. So our goal is to put 600 people a month through that sequence. And then of those, if they're opening multiple emails, if they're clicking on links, now we put them into our 15-step sequence. That sequence includes the very first thing we do is we pick up a phone and call them.
No.
I know, it's archaic. Most phones have the little rodeo dial thing too, right? So we go old school and we call people. We go really old school and we use the Pony Express. And we literally put letters in the mail so that, have you ever gotten a cold email? I mean, like every day, right? How many cold letters do you get? Not like a discount letter, but like a cold letter.
Not many.
Not many, right? And this game, prospecting, so I consider prospecting content marketing done one-on-one. You're putting the right content in front of your ideal client when the timing is right, according to your schedule, to get them into a sales call. Everything I do drives to a sales call, right? Like that's the best way to grow a business. I love funnels. I love automation and everything else. When you're trying to sell something online, this is my personal opinion, you have a limit to how high you can charge based on the method of communication. I charge $5,000 a month to run prospecting for companies. I'm not going to close that through a funnel, right? I've got to get them on a sales call. And I work with people. Their products and services, they aren't closing them through the funnel. Maybe they'll get the lead through a funnel, but they've got to take it to a sales call. And so that's what we do, is we take what is the message, what are we trying to get out to the public, and we put it in letters, we put it in emails, we put it through LinkedIn and Facebook, we put it on in lump email. I don't have any here, but literally send a box. Send a box with something. When's the last time you got a box addressed to you that you didn't open? When's the last time you got a box not addressed to you that you didn't open? I got two right here, right? I mean, we open boxes. So in sales, it is about who gets remembered when the problem is front and center. And if you're following up 3 to 7 times, you will not be remembered. But if you've got a sequence, so I showed you, that was my first card. This is my second card. It's my favorite. I am a child at heart. I love to have fun. And so they get a full page with, oh my gosh, I can't even, Andy Dwyer, right? From Parks and Rec. Is that right? Surprise! And then you open it up. I've got 4 different sales memes, and then my sales letter. Not all unexpected surprises are positive, but I hope this one makes you laugh. The truth is, in sales and marketing, you must stand out. Standing out means doing things differently. We are no longer in the information age. Information is everywhere. We are now in the attention age. It is whoever stays top of mind who will win. If you want to capture someone's attention, you need to do things that stand out from everyone else. We help with that. Call us, right?
Yep.
You've got to stand out. And so that's what this content marketing done one-on-one. Now, to be totally transparent, the lifetime value of your clients and the price of your services matter when it comes to how in-depth you're going to go with your content marketing. I've had a friend was doing a similar style. They had a varnish to put on doors, fake doors, to make them look real, like real wood. Literally, they shipped 10 doors to the highest, think Home Depot, think Lowe's, like CEOs at these companies. They got 10 meetings because there were 10 doors sitting in these offices, and they're like, why the hell is there a door in my office? Right?
It's like the ultimate lumpy mail.
It is. Literally, you can't fit the door through the door. So when it comes to prospecting, it is 100% about being top of mind. That's one reason why we use a software. And by the way, hey, can I share about my blueprint? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we put together a blueprint. How my company makes money, to be totally transparent, because that's all I know, is we go out and we tell everything that we do to everyone who will listen. And we teach them what to do. So we've created a 15-page blueprint that it's actually what we use to create these processes for our done-for-you clients. And we give it away. Now, we give it away because a lot of people are going to get into it and they're going to say, wow, this is super awesome. And I am never going to do this. So I'll pay Justin and you own that problem. So if you want that blueprint that we use to create these systems for our prospects, where can they get that, Jen? Didn't you say you had a place?
It will be included, thanks to Justin. It'll be included in the content toolbox right in the resource center. So you can go grab it there, and it'll have links to all of Justin's information as well. So where else can they find more info about you, Justin?
Yeah, I am on Facebook and LinkedIn. Those are my 2 main platforms, Justin Stevens, or you can go to my website, a very clever name. I thought of it myself, prospectingdoneforyou.com. Now, ask me what I do. Ask me what I do.
What do you do, Justin?
I do prospecting for you. Clever, right?
I love it. Well, perfect. My next question was actually going to be, if people are not used to or wanting to modify their sales or prospecting process, what would be some of the great first steps for them to take? But I'm guessing that's going to be go grab the blueprint and start walking through those.
So yes, get the blueprint, because obviously since my name is on it, it must be gold.
Absolutely.
Just saying. The blueprint is a great start. The other thing is, so here's a question I get all the time, and it's, what's the best CRM to use for sales or whatever, right? Here's the truth. It's the one you actually use. So do not, if you are trying to get good at this, do not under any circumstance overcomplicate the hell out of it. Because the more complicated it is, the less likely you are to follow through. So you must simplify. So if you're just starting out and you think, yeah, I follow up 5 times, he wants me to do 15, please just up it to 7, up it to 8. You don't have to run the whole marathon, right? Just get started. So that's my biggest advice when it comes to implementing literally anything in life, is because this is what I do. As an overachiever, I set these ridiculous goals and I'm like, I'm going to call 500 people a day. I'm going to go out and make a huge difference. I'm going to I'm going to do all these things. And then a week later, I'm like, well, fuck that. That was so much work. I am not doing that anymore. Right? Jenn's never done that, but I know other people who have.
All the time.
So when you're getting started with anything, guys, calm down, keep it simple, and don't go for the gold. Like no one in the Olympics showed up at the Olympics that week and said, all right, I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it. No, they showed up when they were 2 and got pushed down the ski hill or whatever, right? They've been doing this their whole life. So don't expect to just show up and be great. You got to practice. You got to take your time. You got to get in there and give yourself a freaking break, man. Life's freaking hard. There's a lot going on. And when you fall off the wagon, because you will, I have never seen anyone not fall off the wagon, whichever wagon that may be. But when you fall off the wagon is not important. What is important is that you get back on, right? How many of us have set weight loss goals, learning goals, sales goals, like all these different goals? We laid the blueprint for how we're going to get there. And then we fall off and we're like, well, that failed. No, you just gave up. So don't worry about falling off. Just worry about getting back up, because that's where success lives in life. It's getting up.
I love it. Keep it simple and keep going.
Exactly. That's all you need.
All right, so let's end with, I'd like to think, what is one surprising thing that you discovered about yourself or this process through this journey that you have been on?
Oh, man. There's so many surprising things. One thing, I guess it's not really surprising, but I can be optimistic about just about damn near anything. Like literally anything. So that's cool. What's something surprising I learned? So when I went through, I told you I spent all my money and failed my first business, and that was epic, right? I had a ton of fun. I learned more in that 6-month period than I did running a sales training business for 10 years, right? Just different, right? So one of the biggest things I learned is that there ain't no one out there that's special. Like I thought, because of my training, I thought because of everything I'd been through and who I was and the people I knew, I thought this would be easy. I thought there was no way. When I sold my house, when I sold my car, when I closed those retirement, I was like, no, this is an investment. I know what I'm doing. And it was an investment. It was an investment in my education. but there is nothing that makes me special. And there's nothing that makes you special. There's not, except your willingness to get up and fail again.
Yeah.
That's where success lives.
Yeah.
Failure. So,
that's brutal and epic there at the same time.
It's so true, right? It's like, oh, yeah, I'm so handsome though. That's got to count for something, right? So I was walking with my 6-year-old daughter the other day, and we're walking, and she was a little downhearted, and she said, "Dad, I'm a failure." And I said, "That is so great, honey. So am I." And she was really confused. And then I told her, I am successful because I'm a failure. Because if you are not willing to fail, you will never achieve success, because you will never try long enough and hard enough to get there. The safest place to be is not a failure, right? I should make t-shirts like #failure, baby. Because that's how anybody got to where they were or are, through failure. Not in spite of failure, but because of failure. So
yeah, I love that. That's so awesome. And I think to kind of like bring it back to, what I talk about a lot in terms of content repurposing is the thing that makes people attracted to you, and that know, like, and trust factor is because you're able to tell that story. You're able to create a real connection. And like you said, none of us are unique, special snowflakes. But as long as you can find those things, like by being real and being willing to fail and keep going and sharing that story, you're creating that connection that's just going to keep drawing people right back to you.
100%. 100%. And share your dirty underwear. That's what I'll leave you with. Like, guess what? We all got it. Like, ain't no one out there clean. So share it. Makes you human. Right?
Totally does.
I showed you mine. Now you show me yours.
Maybe not exactly in those words, but
Hey, I'm just trying to motivate and inspire.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh man, I love it, love it, love it. Is there anything else that I have missed talking about here that you feel the need to be able to share to anybody?
You can do it. This is what I love. So right now we're going through this thing. I don't know if everybody's heard of it, but it's called COVID-19. And like, it's just this little pandemic that has changed a couple things in our world, right? And anytime I talk to anybody about it, the thing I constantly remind people is, as humans, we figure it out. That's just what we do. You're going to die. Guess what? So am I. I mean, will it be tomorrow? I don't know. Will it be next week? I don't know. But until that happens, we figure it out. And so you're going to be fine. Like, I promise you, you will be fine. Life is happening for you, not to you. For example, I told you I invested everything in this business that failed epically 1 year ago. That business was centered around live events. What do you think would have happened had it been successful?
Not so much right now.
I would have failed right now, right? Like, it's okay. Life happened for me. Was it painful? Heck yeah. Did I like it? Not really. Would I wish it on someone else? No. But it happened for me, and I would not change it for the world. So I just want to leave you with that. No matter what happens, you're going to be so fine. It's going to be great. Just keep going. You got it, babe.
I love it. Thank you so much. What great words of wisdom. Thanks so much for joining us today. And we'll make sure that we get the links out there. But remember, prospectingdoneforyou.com. Go check out Justin. Check out the information in the content toolbox resource area. And thanks again, Justin.
Hey, thank you. Have a great day, everybody.